Hello everyone, my name is Ramesh Harikrishnasamy and I'm a digital artist from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. And I am extremely happy to announce that I finally found time to actually create videos, especially on photo manipulation using Photoshop. And probably there will be a lot more Adobe apps that I'll be using in the future. But I am super happy to say that I finally find time to work on these videos, especially for those who always been following my work. You guys have been sending me a lot of direct message asking for tutorials. So there you go. Finally, I created one. So this is the first one, and I hopefully I'll create more as we go. And of course, for this video, I am super happy to share some of the tips and tricks in Photoshop using the, if I'm sure you've seen the thumbnail where we're going to create this final image here that we're going to create today using these stock images, right? So as you guys can see, there is monkey, which is the kind of main character of this photo manipulation, and we have Lord Hanuman statue. We also have park, as you guys can see there, and also there's a pot, there's also a clay, there's also two texture of cement that I'll be using, right? So super happy that I can show you guys finally on how I create all these artworks using Photoshop. Now, why don't we just jump straight to it? There you go. So we are now at the another interface where you guys can see me and you guys get to see what I'm be working on. Like, how do I create all this base, the result, as you guys can see earlier, right? So basically the base where there's a monkey, it's actually lying down on Lord Hanuman. It's a very personal image, as in, like, how do I say, it's a very touching image, right? When I create it myself, I can actually feel a lot of like warmness, a lot of meaning behind it. So and it went viral. A lot of Instagram accounts, especially like millions of followers, they actually shared this on their post. So yeah, so I thought it would be nice to just start off my first ever tutorial on YouTube platform using this artwork. So let's go straight into it. So first thing first, this is a blank canvas. Again, it depends on what you guys want to create. You can create a landscape or square or whatever size that you want. Because I know that I'll be using this artwork mainly for my social media, right? So that's why I made it square. So if you guys want to create something for video dimension, obviously you go for it by 16 by 9, which is the wider canvas. Because this artwork is in square, so I'm going to make sure that the canvas is square. And how do I create this kind of canvas, right? Again, all you press is Control N for Windows. If you're on Mac, Command N, you'll get an interface like this where you guys can again have a custom sizes predefined, right? Or create presets for it, so that anytime you want to create an Instagram square image, you can actually set it here. Because this is square, I already preset it here, 2000 by 2000. 72 dpi is just perfect because I know that I'm just going to use social media for that purpose. It's not billboards or whatever. Obviously, you need a 300 dpi, which is a higher dpi, right? So yeah, so 2000 by 2000, which is perfect. And firstly, we're going to create the base. So the base is where the cement and everything. So probably you guys be wondering, how do I create this? Do I go or drag an image that already has the base? No, we're going to create everything from scratch. So this is how you do it. First thing first, we need to create an outline or some sort of like a placeholder where I can insert the cement. So how that works is that all you have to do is press on U. Straight away you can see it's being highlighted. Um, U stands for like shapes, right? Like for example, there's a shortcut to create shapes, so you can create shapes like this and everything. So for this, I am going to just adjust the color. As you guys can see, I'm just sliding it to make it look like a gray slightly, and I am going to just create on the canvas itself, um, just like that. There you go. So just again, we are creating a base of the cement. we will insert the cement texture right on top of this. So right now I'm creating the base. Next thing first, right underneath the background, I'm gonna create one more what do you call, like a placeholder. And for this, I am going to slightly change the color to, again, in the color can be anything. I'm just randomly picking because I, so that I know where will it will be, right? So again, second image, I am second shapes here. I am going to just put over here. Perfect. So as you guys can see, right below rectangle 1, that's rectangle 2. So this is second placeholder of the cement that I'll be inserting later on. Next, I am gonna just create another shape. This is for the floor of it, right? So this is the side of it, and we're gonna create the top surface of the cement. So this is the wall. And for that, again, I'm gonna just go back to the shape, and I'm gonna create one more just like this. And I'm gonna do some adjustment. The color I want to change to slightly something different. Let me choose maybe green. Again, the color again doesn't matter, any color works. So that's that. And then next I am gonna press command, so right click, and I am gonna just do this command T. When you command T, you'll get selected. Right click on it and press or select distort. When you do that, everything gets flexible, right? Like this. So you can move things like that. Again, I'm just pressing shift so that it goes a straight line, else it will go haywire, right? So I don't want that. So from the side one, I'm gonna just drag that like that and leave it there. That looks perfect. Again, I'm gonna just zoom in and show you that it's not really in a center line over there. So again, I'm gonna just use arrow key and move it. There you go. That's perfect. Okay, so now you guys probably get to see roughly how the base looks like. So I'm going to show you a preview of our final image. There you go. Can you see the wall, the bottom surface of the cement, and also the side, right? So for that, that's why I'm creating this. And you'll probably be wondering, how am I going to insert the cement? That's the best part when it comes to masking. So this feature is something that I'll be using over and over again so that you guys get familiarized with it, right? So now, first thing first, I am gonna go to the wall and drag in my first image. So again, I'm dragging. There you go. That's the cement. But as you guys can see, it's not sitting on the surface that I've already created. Again, I'm gonna make this cement as the wall, but it's not sitting within the wall itself, right? So all you have to do is go to the cement layer here, press on Alt. I think for Windows it's Alt, for Mac is Option. When you do that, right on that layer, you'll get a small arrow. There you go. Can you see that? So just press on it. When you do that, it sits within the surface that I already created. So whatever that goes under this rectangle 2, it sits within. There you go. Like that. There you go. I can move things around, but it stays within the shape. So this is how I create most of my manipulation. If you notice, I have a lot of cement type of surface. This is how I do it. But here, there's some adjustment that we need to do. If you notice, if I'm actually sitting right in front of this particular artwork, let's say again, I'm trying to imagine myself being here. This is not the right, how do you call it, the angle. So I'm going to adjust it. Remember distort, we're going to do that for this. So just right click, press on distort. Again, it will get very flexible. Just make sure that you move it at the side. So you can see it's slightly going to the slanting angle, right? Again, just move things just like that. Again, you can see already how it goes, right? The dimension or the angle of it, as if it's going on the perspective angle. So I am going to do this. Again, it's all manual work. I love doing manual work. I learn a lot by doing this. And press enter. Ta-da! You already created a wall. And now to create the bottom surface of the cement, all you have to do is drag back the same image. Again, if you're wondering where am I dragging all these stock images, I have another computer at the side. So I'm basically just dragging it over to my Photoshop. So when you drag it, you become a smart object. What is smart object is something that I'll let you guys know soon. So now that I've created, drag in the cement, now it's time to add in within the surface of it. Right now, if you notice, it's going behind the surface, which is not right. That's because the layer, if you guys notice up here, you need to move it right on top of the green rectangle, right? Like for example, this is the one. Okay, again, if you remember, Option or Alt, press on it on the cement layer, you get that. And then press on Control T. Let's resize it. There you go. This is perfect, but the angle is wrong. What do I mean by that? If you press enter, you notice that it's flat. This is not the right angle. We are not looking at a straight angle right now. It should be slightly slanted this way, right? So for that, again, what we do is just press Control T or Command T, right click, and then go to Distort and just move this down like that. Perfect. And then move this up. Then you guys can roughly see now it's kind of like forming, right? The surface. There you go. That's perfect. So now we already done the wall. We already done working on the surface. Now at the side. So again, same thing. Let's drag in cement again. Again, move that layer right above the rectangle one, and then you can't see it right now. Reasons because we're gonna drag in that image. Is the image is right currently in the center of this canvas. You can't see it because it's already being masked. So meaning the only visible area that you get to see the cement will be at the bottom here. So all I'm going to do is Control T or Command T, move it down. There you go. You will get to see it. Again, I'm going to just resize this. Now, this is the right angle where I don't have to do any sort of like what do you call, like moving the angle and whatever not, because obviously because it's straight, right? You're looking straight to the base. So I'm gonna just move this down. Again, Control T, move down just to find the right color or angle. There you go. I think that's perfect. Again, lighting and whatever not, we're gonna fix that very soon. For this, what we can do is a lot of things. I'm gonna create more of the textures. Right now, the cement look very raw. There is no realism to it. Like for example, if you look at the result that we're going to work on, right, there's a lot of like a dirty like stain over the cement and then whatever not. So we're going to create that. So how do we create that? I'll let you know soon. For now, I am going to create some sort of like lighting. And how do I do that? Um, Again, you need to study lighting. So how to study lighting based on experience? If you go to any places, right? If there's a sun pointing from either top, bottom, I mean top, angle, left or right, you get to see where the sun ray goes, right? So you as a master of your artwork, you can come up with your own lighting. You are in control. For this, the lighting that I think that will be perfect. Again, I'm gonna just create a very rough example. Like for example, that's the sun. I'm imagining the sun is not really there. Is on the top left of my canvas. So I'm imagining that, right? Not really further away. It's just at the top left. So I trying to imagine that. So in order to work on the colors or the lighting and everything, this is how you do it. I want you to go to the cement. Let's work on the why don't we work on the side layer first? Like for example, this one, right? What I'm going to do is right above cement, we're going to create a new layer. How do you do that? If you notice, there's a plus sign where my cursor is. Press on it, press on Alt, and let's call this lighting, right? And I want you to change the lighting. Um, the layer on top here, there's actually a layer effect. I want you to change normal to soft light. When you do that, what happens is that whatever colors that you put, you can still see the surface of the texture. Don't use normal, right? Do not use normal. Change that to soft light and see what happens next. Just press on G again. G is for the bucket. So we don't want to use bucket really for this. Keep pressing G. When you keep pressing G, meaning Shift G, you get to see if you notice my toolbar, it keeps changing to different type of like features within the bucket itself. We want to go for gradient. Gradient that has a basic of transparency, black, and also transparency where whatever colors that goes beyond it, it will be opacity 0. So what I'm going to do now is on the lighting, again, knowing that the lighting coming from top left, I am going to just do this for the bottom one. So make sure your gradient is actually in a linear, not radial. And then since here we are working on the bottom one, obviously when the light goes direct to the base here, whatever goes at the side will be slightly darker. So we're going to create that by, can you see that? Just move your cursor. We already select a linear and we already have a transparency for black and again transparent layer there. All you have to do is just drag and do this. And if you go back to your layer, if you on and off it, you can see the difference, right? I want the top one to be slightly brighter. Okay, this is perfect. Again, you can go slightly darker even more if you want to. All you have to do is just drag the lighting effect again, the layer, to the plus sign, meaning you're duplicating that particular layer so that you have more darkness. When you do that, you will get even darker. And if you think if it's Ramesh is a bit too dark, I think you want to tone it down, you can do so by um, clicking on the layer of the lighting and just reduce the opacity. There you go. That's perfect. Again, with this audio, you can even do some adjustment to it. All you have to do is just press on both of this layer, Command T or Control T, press on it, and then you can even move it. Move things around, whichever angle that you want, right? So I'm gonna just leave it this way over here for now. We can do more adjustment later if you want to. And now let's work on the surface of this cement. I'm going to create more of brightness to it. Again, because I say brightness, you want to add brightness effect to it. All you have to do right above cement, just go underneath here. You can see a circle with a black and white, or should I say half filled circle. Just press on it, go for brightness and contrast. If you notice, it has to sit within the masking of the rectangle tree. All you have to do again, option click, and then it will sit. And then now I want you to increase the brightness so that it gets extra brighter. So let's do that. Can you see that? Right, it's getting extra brighter. Let me just zoom in so you guys can see again. There you go. So let's increase the brightness. That's perfect because we need it to be slightly brighter than anything else. That's perfect. And then now I'm gonna just remove layer 1 where I sketch the sun. I don't need it. Again, at the back of my head, I already know the sun is coming from that direction. Now, next thing, I am going to bring in the main character of this manipulation, the monkey. Now, many years ago, when I start working on photo manipulation, it was a challenge to remove a lot of things around the subject. Like there's pen tool when I need to do masking, and then I need to like zoom in and make sure that everything looks clean when I edge out. Now with Photoshop, again, I'm using Photoshop 2023. If you have lower version or like Photoshop 2022, you can still do this kind of effects. Again, now there's more, or should I say, an easier way to edge things out, meaning to remove the background. All you have to do is press on the monkey layer. I want you to press on W, it's a shortcut for select subject. When you do that, automatically on top here, you will see select subject. And I want you to also notice there's actually an arrow right beside select subject. And why am I pointing to that is because if you notice, there's also a device and cloud, meaning device, it can do a quick selection of the what do you call that subject with the help of the machine, meaning it happens within your machine. Your machine is doing it. If I press on the cloud, which is the detailed result, meaning the cloud, meaning the engine of Photoshop in the server will do the calculation and make sure that the result will be better. As you guys can see within the bracket, right? It says quicker results, or you want a detailed result. and are always looking for detailed results. So I'm going to switch this to cloud, and monkeys there. I want you to just select subject. When you do that, it will calculate, and you kind of already know that you are looking for the monkey. Monkey is the one that you're looking for. Yes, exactly. And as you guys can see, if I zoom in, I get to see the detail of it, which is perfect. This is exactly what I want. So again, monkey selected, and we need to mask everything as around the image. All you have to do is go back down here. If you notice, there's actually a rectangle and a circle in the middle. I want you to press on it. For me, that's magic. Right? It saves so much of my time so that I can create for more manipulations. Meaning I don't have to waste so much of time, edging this particular subject, right? Again, now that I've done with that one, I am going to just move the monkey over here. Too close. I am gonna just move it at the back. Again, as you guys can see, it's lying down on a branch before this, right? But in this photo manipulation, there's a story behind it. It's just that it's tired. If you notice, there's actually an Instagram post dedicated for this, right? That I created. There's actually a story behind it. Again, I love creating artworks that has a story in it, so that it's more meaningful. So that it's not just an artwork and then people move on. I want people to just read and get something out of it. Now that I'm done with the monkey, I need to do some cleaning. Even though Photoshop again do a very good job in edging things out, there are certain things that I think still can be adjusted. And what I'm going to do now is I am going to do some cleaning. So let's go back to the monkey, press on the black mask out box, and then we're gonna go to switch my cursor to B, which is brush. As you guys can see on the left hand side, I have a tool presets. These are super useful shortcuts that I like to just go and get it. And how did I create this tool presets? All you have to do, you just go to window, and you can see tool presets in here. If you never use it before, you get a blank tool presets. All you have to do is, if you want to add any shortcuts from here, sometimes you want maybe you want to dive in and you want to have a burn tool. You don't have to dive in here and then go into the burn tool. You can just say Photoshop, I want a shortcut where I can go burn tool straight away. I press on it and I get to access it. So these are the reason why I like to use tool presets, because it's, again, it saves so much of my time. So for this, I want to do cleaning. Again, it's super important to find the right brush type. For this, I think brush tool soft will work the best. And also, please be mindful with this is that the flow has to be 33%. Again, I like to do an like below 50. Reasons because I don't like a very intense flow where, again, I want it to be the person to control it, right? So 33 is like the perfect number for myself. Again, I'm going to just zoom in here. Probably you guys can see this. I am going to just remove certain parts that I don't need. Like for example, this fur over here. Again, I'm going to just clean it. Again, just a rough one. Again, we have some black marks over here. Let's just zoom in there. I don't need these, right? That's perfect. Again, you can see the surface, or should I say the first surface still can be seen, because again, Photoshop maintains certain again lots of details so that we don't have to do so much of work. Again, I want to just trim this hair. It's a bit too much over there. This is perfect. Let's go to the head. Okay, let's do cleaning over the face, and then here. Perfect. There's a lot more cleaning to be done here. Again, let's just do this. And then here, and then the hand, we can just mask it here. There's a reason why I'm brushing this off. You guys will know later. Again, everything else looks perfect. And then it's time to again, before I do any more lighting effects to the monkey, I'm gonna just go right at the bottom of the monkey. I'm gonna just drag in our second most important subject, which is Lord Hanuman's statue. Again, same thing like how I mask the monkey out. Press on W, quickly you get a select subject right above it. Click on cloud, Again, it depends on you. If you think you have a very complex looking background, you want to use cloud. For this, again, I can go either one. Maybe for this device will work because again, it's just flat white background. So select subject, selected, and again, if you notice, it's selected white. The background haven't been removed. That's the reason because we haven't clicked on the masking tool right underneath the layer. When you do that, ta-da, the background have been removed. Now again, I am gonna just move, press on again the monkey the Hanuman's statue, and I want you to move it just like this. Let's zoom out slightly. There you go, a bit more. Again, I'm trying to move the statue close to the wall because that's what initially I've done for my manipulation. And then now the monkey layer, let's move it close to the god as if it's, trying to lay down the head on Hanuman. Wait, this is perfect. This is perfect, I think. Let's see. Yeah, or should I resize slightly smaller? Again, how do I resize? Just Command T or Control T. Reduce the size. Let's move it closer to Hanuman. I think this is, I think this is perfect. Okay, cool. I'm happy so far with the outcome. Again, it has been 26 minutes to be exact, and we have come this far within 26 minutes. So imagine few more minutes how drastically this can be changed. Again, let's see. So now that I've positioned a lot Hanuman there and then the monkey over here, it's time to work on certain lighting. Now, if you remember, the lighting that I was talking about earlier is that it's coming from top left. So I want to make sure that you want to make sure the lighting is at the back of your mind, that the light always comes from there and everything else works together. For this, I am going to do some shadow effects on it, right? Let's go to the base. And if you're wondering also, right, I can move things around. For example, when I press around, you can see the layers are moving together. That's the reason why that's happening is that my cursor, when I press V is for select, and I have my auto select layer here so that I can move things around, right? So naming layer, it's super important if you're working solo or group, especially in a team. For this, it will be very less layers, so I don't have to worry so much of naming it. But you guys can see how I explained earlier, right? It comes from rectangle, and then slowly we add some lightings, and then some brightness, and then we add two stock images so far. Now it's time to add in shadows. Let's do that. How? Just zoom in right on the surface of the base. If I press, here's selected. I want you to create a new layer. Let's call this shadow and change normal to soft light and then press on B because I'm going to manually add in shadows. Let's increase the brush size. How to do that? There's actually an opening bracket and closing bracket. When you press on the opening bracket, it will become small on your keyboard. If you make it larger, you want to make it larger, just go to the closing one. And then now slowly go zoom in, and then again here for detailing purposes I'm trying to zoom in, and then I'm going to do the shadows manually, right? Again, super important, the flow is 33, which is perfect. Again, I don't want any rough looking shadows yet. I'm just playing with very normal looking shadow. This is like the first layer of creating shadows, so that's perfect so far. And let's go back to the wall. Press on V. You want to select something, press on V, and you can see automatically the wall is selected. Create a new layer. Press on Alt meaning it can only be seen within the rectangle and shape. So let's call this shadow. And then we're going to add shadow for Lord Hanuman. Now, there are many ways to do this, but again, This is the first tutorial ever that I'm doing right now. I want to show you a manual work, how I create shadows for most of my manipulations. All you have to do is press on L. When you press on L, you probably will notice that the polygonal lasso is being selected. Again, it depends which one you use the most, right? I love using polygonal lasso, but for this, I need to switch to lasso tool. When you press on that, you'll get this. So the selection of lasso tool. I want you to just zoom in slightly. Again, imagine the back of your head. There's a shadow behind Lord Hanuman. Just roughly follow the shape of Lord Hanuman like this, and then move up until here. Okay, that particular area have been selected. So again, I'm selecting at the back of Lord Hanuman, which is the shadow. I'm creating a shadow over the wall. So that's done. And then I want you to press on G very quickly. When you press G, you remember the last thing that we did was adding the gradient at the bottom here. We don't need a gradient. For this, we need a bucket. So press Shift G again until you see a foreground up here selected. There you go, bucket is selected. I want you to choose a black color. So black is already selected, and I want you to drop on it. When you drop, you'll notice that it's very harsh. Ramesh, it's impossible to have a pitch black like that. That's correct. I want you to deselect it. How you deselect is Command D or Control D, deselect it. And we are going to do some adjustment to it. Again, press on V and then go to the shadow and then drag it slightly over here. There you go. That's perfect. And then I want you to change normal up here to soft light. Still, it doesn't look right. It should have a bit of blurriness, right? And there you go, that's the keyword, blurriness. I want you to go to, now that the shadow has been selected on my layer, go to filter, choose blur, and go for Gaussian blur. When you do that, can you see that? Let's preview that, right? Preview, before, after. It added the shadow already, which is perfect. It's a manual shadow that we created. Now, it's super important again to actually visualize this in real life. If Lord Hanuman is statue is very close to the wall, the shadow should look even darker, right? Because it's very close to the wall. The further Lord Hanuman goes away from the wall, the lesser it gets, right? So again, so far I am okay, but I think more adjustment can be done. And in order to do that, I'm going to just need a bit more shadow. So I'm going to create a new layer, press on Alt so that it sits within the wall rectangle. Let's call this extra shadow. Perfect. Change this to soft light, press on B for brush. Everything looks perfect. Black is what I'm looking for, and I'm going to just go in and brush just very slightly, right? At the back there. Perfect. This is perfect. Yeah, looks good. But still something is not right. If that's the if the light is coming from top left, a certain areas at the back of Lord Hanuman need to look darker. You are absolutely right. So change, again press on V. Again, we're going to select Lord Hanuman right now. When you do that, Lord Hanuman is selected. I want you to create a new layer. Press on Alt so that anything that I edit within Lord Hanuman sits within that layer, right? So let's call this shadow. And I want you, let's call shadow, there's a typo, shadow, perfect. Change to B and don't change this to soft light. I want you to just zoom in. Again, back of my head, the shadow has to look darker. So I am actually trying to manually color the white areas that's showing. And why is the white areas there? Is because if you notice, we actually extracted Lord Hanuman's statue from a white background. So we are doing this again, coloring right at the back of Lord Hanuman. There's another shadow editing that we're going to do, but that's later. There you go, just coloring it darker, knowing that the light is coming from here. So that's perfect here. If you notice, I never color anything in front of Lord Hanuman, knowing that the light is there. Go, this is perfect. And we're gonna go in here and let's change, also decrease the brush size. um okay, if you notice, how do I brush this area over here, Ramesh? It affects the front area of the leg. There's a way to do it. Press on L, using the lasso tool that you selected earlier. Draw a shape that you are going to color on. So just do this, so knowing that you just want to color that area. Then press on B, and if you do this, it sits within the shape of the leg, which is here is perfect. Let's change to E, eraser, and remove this area. Perfect. Okay, if you notice, now without shadow it won't look nice. Can you see that? After, before, after. So we're creating the more like a realistic looking manipulation. So we need to make sure lightings is very important. If you notice, I keep saying this on even Adobe Live streams with a film, that shadows and lighting is the only thing that will make your artwork look real. So please give more effort in creating lighting. Again, that's first shadow. We're going to create new layer again. Press on Alt. um let's call, press on Alt, sorry, here. Let's call this extra shadow. And for this, I want you to change normal to soft light, and then press on G. Again, we're going for a gradient right now, so Shift G again. There you go, looks perfect up here. That's exactly what I wanted. What I wanted is that I want a black and a transparent area. There you go. And I am going to just have a slight darkness at the background again, the area where we added shadows. So let's do that. Ta-da! Yeah, that's perfect. Let's see that one more time. One, two. Yeah, that's the lighting I'm looking for. And then kind of already, not to say done with Lord Hanuman. There's a lot more things to add, but I'm going to just adjust Lord Hanuman's shadow even more on the bottom layer. Press on V, select the bottom. You know, the area we added shadow earlier for the monkey, we can use that for Lord Hanuman. So I am going to just do this and then erase this area. We don't need that. Again, you know how it is, right? If you move certain object very close to the wall, um, the shadow goes at the bottom and then up, right? So yeah, again, you have to really think that you are there right now. So that's the only way to make a realistic looking shadows. Let's create more shadows. Um, let's call this again shadow again, and then this time, rather than using soft light, yes, let's use normal. And because you know it's very close to the wall, obviously at the bottom here, you need to also make it look darker. There you go. I'm gonna just zoom in here very quickly and then add in shadows here. Okay, and then let's use eraser to just rub this off very nicely. Okay, that looks good. And then again, using the same shadow layer, I am going to just zoom in here and add in shadows. Okay, why it's not working is because I am using eraser. I need to switch to B. There you go. Increase the size of your brush very closely. If you look, I am trying to create a manual looking shadows here. That's perfect. Yeah, I can even do more. So I am going to just reduce the flow even more, and then there you go. Now that that's there, if you notice, there's also a base that Lord Hanuman is standing on. I need to create even more shadows there. So let's go to the one more layer. We can reuse shadows from Lord Hanuman for this one, even for the front part. So because the monkey is lying very closely on Lord Hanuman, you want to make sure that the shadow also reflects here, right? If you notice, I am also adding shadows here. because he's actually lying very close to Lord Hanuman. Again, I am gonna just create more shadows there, like the not so much outside the shape of Lord Hanuman, the monkey's face, but right where I think the shadow will fall, right there, because again, very close to Lord Hanuman. Let's create more shadows there. Again, all I'm doing is just pressing on my brush. I'm not even brushing, I'm just pressing it. There you go. There you go. Something is happening. Can you see with all the shadow and lighting, everything looks real. So let's zoom in even more, and time to add in shadows within the monkey. Where is monkey layer? Press on V, press on monkey. Monkey is up there. Create new layer. Press Alt. Let's change layer to shadow. Let's change normal to soft light, and I want you to zoom out slightly so that you can see everything, and darken the areas that you think where the light won't reach, because as I said, right, it's coming from top left, and just rub off here. Just brush even more at the bottom of the feet where the light is not reaching. Where the light's not reaching, what happens is that everything gets darker. Again, all I'm doing is a very manual work of creating brush. It's always so much fun creating artwork from scratch, where you create all these fake shadows. Again, I always want to create artwork that looks real. That's my main mission. Oh, if you notice, there's also a lot of people commented underneath the post of this Instagram saying that I didn't know that this is photoshopped. This looks so real. So if you want to achieve a realistic looking photo manipulation, this is what you have to do. You have to create a lot of like shadow editing and all that. So again, we're done with that one. We're going to create a new layer. Normal. This is called extra. Again, doesn't matter where it falls. In terms of like the placement of the shadow, it can be underneath the main shadow that we already created for the monkey. And this time, don't change to soft light. Leave it as normal. And because I want to add in more harsh, or should I say a bit softer looking shadows like this. There you go. Perfect. Flow 19, because I don't want a very harsh looking shadow. There you go. Again, at the back of my head, I'm trying to imagine I'm there, and I believe the shadows will look like this. Right? If you zoom out, and I'm going to show you why shadows are important. If I hide both of the shadows on my layer, can you see that? And now you see realistic. Now that's done. I think I need to do a bit of adjustment to the fur of the monkey. Let's do that. Let's go back to the masking area. Press on B, and then we're gonna remove certain fur out of the monkey because it looks too harsh. There you go. That looks perfect. Yes. Now we are we done with shadowing? I think there's a bit more shadow that we can add. Let's go to the base, press on it, shadows, normal, perfect. I'm going to use that layer now and add in more shadow. Adjust, do a lot of lighting adjustment until you feel happy about it. Again, if you ask me, I always enjoy the process of creating my artwork. So doing this video and then sharing with you guys is totally different than me working solo. Like I'll just listen to music and I'll be like zooming in, zooming out, just to make sure that okay, does it look realistic? Am I happy with it? All that. So but most of the time I enjoy creating my artwork. Okay, that looks so good already. Okay, time to teach you even more tricks. Why don't we add some sort of like color to it? Right now, if you notice, everything looks okay, like in terms of like cement looks the way it is, it's gray in color. The monkey has its own color. Lord Hanuman has dual color. I feel we can have a bit of warmness. And how do we do that? I want you to go right on top of your layer. Um, just press on again the circle that has that cut into two, black and white. I want you to press on it and go for color lookup. If you're wondering what is color lookup, color lookup is like those Instagram filters or any apps that has filters. Sometimes you go for holiday and then you notice, like, you take a photo of a scenery and you feel like if I add filter, it gets extra nicer. Similar. So once you click on color lookup, you will get three drop downs. I want you to go to 3D loot, and automatically you'll get a list like this. And I want you to select, again, depending on what you want to do, really. I love fall colors, and I want you to look at my artwork right now. If I press on it, see what happens to it. I'm not sure if you guys can see it, so I am going to just zoom in like this, and I want you to see this. On, off, on, off. Right? It has a bit of warmness. This is exactly what I want. And now it's time to add in the background. If you notice, there's actually a park that I showed earlier, right? In the video, I'm going to add in that park. There you go. Park. Where did I add it? Right at the bottom, because so that the layering wise, it should be there. And I want to just put it over there. That's perfect. Again, if you notice, right, the color of the background, the park, is just too contrasty. I don't even know if that's the word. Contrast level of that park is just too much, that is taking away my attention from the main image. And how to reduce that? If you notice, most of my manipulation, if I add any type of background, I like to reduce the opacity, or I tone it down by adding some gradients, a very soft gradient, so that the background is there as a supportive, but people should look at the foreground, which is the main subject here, right, is Lord Hanuman and the monkey. In order to create that tone, I want you to again drag the park layer one more time, and then you get a duplicate one. I want you to go up here on the adjustment of the layer, from normal change to screen. Can you see that? Like, if I hide that layer again, from this, it becomes this. This is exactly what I want. Again, I can even tone it down by creating a new layer on top of it. Let's call this, just call it light. And I want to pick a color from the background itself and put it right on top of that photo. There you go. And then change my toolbar to G, which is the bucket, and I have the color pick area. I want to tone down the color slightly beige. There you go. Drop it. You'll be like, now where's the park? The reason is because the opacity right now is at 100%. I want you to reduce it. When you reduce it, it's there, but it's slightly toned down. Because if you don't have, let me just undo or hide these layers, you get a very harsh looking background. I don't want that. I want it to be slightly toned down. This is perfect. And I feel like there are a lot more things that we can add. Obviously, we still have few more what do you call stock image to add. Let's go right above the monkey, and we gonna add in the pot. So if you look at the story, my story, I did say that the pot is where the monkey actually sips some water, and then you realize that it can move on, now that it has energy after drinking a bit of water from the pot. It moved on to another park. So do check out my Instagram for the full story. So I'm going to just position this pot over here. Let's zoom in. It looks slightly blur for some reason. Let's sharpen it. Filter, sharpen. That looks perfect. Let's remove the background. How do I do that? Press on W, select subject. Perfect. Press on the masking toolbar right at the bottom here. We remove the background. Press on V, where you can move things again to select, right? I'm gonna move this here, there. We're gonna work on the lighting for this. Let's create a new layer on top of the pot. Let's call this shadow. Press on Alt. so that the shadow sits within the pot itself. Press on B, and I want you to change the normal to soft light, and then make sure the color of the shadow is black. So if you notice, we still have the beige color that we picked for the sky. For the background, we're going to change that. All you have to do is, shortcut for that is D. You press D, automatically you get a black color or palette. And let's just zoom in and play with the shadow of the pot. Okay, there you go. That's perfect. Let's zoom in even more, and then let's add in darkness at the bottom here. Again, always make sure that you know how to play with lighting, knowing that the sun is coming from the left hand side, so it has to look brighter, right? So we're done with that one. Again, that's soft light. We need to add an extra shadow. Let's call this extra shadow. And then again, press back B for brush, and let's add in slightly harsh looking shadows like that. That's good. And I am going to even add shadow for the base, obviously, because the pot is on top of the base. Press on V. We're going to select the bottom cement. Let's utilize the shadow layers that we already have. We're going to go for the soft light first. Let's zoom in. Press on B. Let's just do this like that. Shadow of the pot. And then we're going to go to the shadow on top of it, and then we're going to just press on, just making my cursor, my brush slightly smaller, and then add darkness at the bottom here. Okay, so if you notice, there are some shadows like going beyond where it's supposed to be. All you have to do is just press on E, eraser tool, and just erase, and then go back to the shadow earlier, and then let's just erase. That's good. And then now that we're done with this, I feel like the pot can be even brighter, or should I say, there should be some sort of like a brighter area in front. Let's change normal to soft light. Let's call this light. Color pick something from the pot itself. Just if you want to color pick something, if you're wondering what's the shortcut for it, just press on I. If you press on I, you get that. Can you notice? There's a color picker. And I'm gonna just go to the color picker here, and I'm gonna look for the brightest area. There you go. That's perfect. And because I noticed there's some brighter area over here, change to soft light. You already color picked the right one, and I want you to just move the light right on top here, increase the flow, change to brush. I was using eraser, that's wrong. There you go. Just brush the front area of the pot so that it's slightly brighter, right? Because there's a light coming in, it's not really blocked by the monkey, so it should be brighter. Okay, that's good. There are certain areas I think I can even refine. Let's go to the pot area. Just press on B, and let's zoom in and clean the area of the pot. There's a bit of white areas around it. I wonder why. Okay, removing that white. Again, if you want to do a realistic looking photo manipulation, these are certain things that you need to adjust. Keep adjusting so that it looks real. Okay, I'm happy with that pot. They are one more thing that I want to add. In my story, I did mention there's also a light. Not sure if I mentioned the story, but having a clay lamp light, just add a realistic looking thing for your manipulation. Okay, for this, I am going to just press on W, select subject, and then mask it, move the lamp slightly in front, and then we're going to do a bit of adjustment color to the lamp because it's slightly brighter. So in order to do that, just go to brightness, make sure you press on Alt, and we are going to just decrease the brightness and the contrast. It's just too contrasty, and we're gonna tone down the color. How to do that? Again, press on the lamp, and then you're gonna go to saturation, hue and saturation, press on that one, and I want you to reduce the saturation. Try to match the color with whatever area subjects that's very close to the clay, which is the pot, right? So this is just too intense, the original color. I'm going to reduce where I feel like it's very close to the pot, which is this. This is perfect. Now it's time to add in the shadows. So I am going to go right above the layer of brightness. Again, I am going to press Alt and then change this to shadow. Change normal to soft light. Press on B. Increase the brush size. But if you notice the color is wrong, change that to black. There you go. And we're going to zoom in. And I'm going to just darken the back part of the lamp. There you go. That's perfect. And even inner part of it. Obviously, right? Because the light is coming from the front. Okay. And then time to add in shadows. Just press on the bottom of the cement. Let's reuse whatever that's already there. Press on B. I am going to just do a shadow for the light. And then shadow for normal. Any shadows, if you notice, right, there's always a two-tone. One is slightly softer shadow and a darker shadow that's very close to the surface. If you don't believe me, tomorrow or whichever from wherever you are right now, if you there's a sun outside, make sure you walk outside, and if you notice, if you stand right outside the house, if you stand, there's always a two type of shadows. Yeah, there you go. That looks real, right? And it's time to also add in light. And how do I do that? I actually have another stock image which I didn't include in my thumbnail, is that I actually have a candlelight. But in order to add in the light, I need to tone down or remove the thread here. So let's remove it by clicking on the black area of the layer of the lamp. Press on B, zoom in. Let's remove, there you go, that. And let's go back to the lamp. And then we're gonna add in the candle. If you notice, here's another challenge that a lot of people have, is that Ramesh, so there's a black mark. How do you remove or the black area from the candle, because it's very soft, you know, you probably have a very rough edge. Well, there's a trick to it. All you have to do is go to, because layers are not in the normal mode, right? I want you to change to screen. Do you notice that? Normal, you have the black area. If I change to screen, it removes whatever there's a black mark around it. Now that we already have the candlelight, let's resize this. Resize even smaller. Let's zoom in. Zoom in. Control T or Command T to resize. I'm gonna bring in very close to the light. And if you notice, there's actually a candle there. We can do some masking to it. Press on masking. Press on B. And let's remove the candle. Now that looks super realistic, isn't it? Oh, another thing. I'm sure there should be some sort of like oil inside the lamp. Let's do that. Let's go back to the layer of the lamp, create a new layer. Let's change normal to overlay. Black works. Go in to the lamp and let's do a manual fake looking oil. You know how if you put something on a lamp, that area will be slightly darker. So we're gonna just do a manual drawing of a lamp. Oh, sorry, the oil. There you go. That looks real, isn't it? Ta-da! We are almost at the finishing time, but then again we're gonna do a bit more refining. Let's press on V, select on the monkey. If you notice, there's actually a black surface on top of the head. So we're gonna just change to B and let's clean it. There you go. Make sure you press on the black area of the layer, the black box, and then let's clean that out. Okay, that looks good. Also, if you notice, My artwork has a red color paint on the cement of the wall and the surface of the base. That's the reason behind it. I tried to Google up like Lord Hanuman temple and everything. They always have this tint of orange and dark around him. It looks very divine, so I thought it would be nice to add that. Let's do that. Let's press on the wall, and I want you to create a new layer. Let's call this just call this red for now, and let's drop a red color overlay on top of the cement. Let's change to G, and then I want you to pick a red, whichever red you think that might work. It can be slightly orangey. There you go. That red looks good. And make sure, again, like I said, normal, change to overlay, and I want you to drop the red color mark. Look, why overlay? If I don't do overlay, if I do normal, it kind of filled up with a bucket. But if you change to either soft light or overlay, it maintains the texture of the wall. Isn't that beautiful? Okay, I'm gonna maintain that, and I want to also add that red mark on the base, because it doesn't make sense to have a clean cut on the wall but not on the surface, right? Now let's click on the cement, create a new layer, call this red again. Let's call this overlay red. Perfect. Now, rather than putting red on all the surface, I just want to have a bit of tint at the wall area. So for that, I'm going to just press on Shift G. Shift G. I want that gradient. Perfect. That's what I want. A transparent layer or color, and then a red. And I'm going to just brush just like that. There you go. That looks good, right? That's perfect. And also it doesn't make sense if you don't edit at the side. So I'm gonna press on the surface of the side area here. Let's call this, oh, I'm gonna move this up and call this red. And normal to overlay. Use back the gradient again. I'm gonna just put in color just like that. Now, this looks real already. Now that we have done that one, and I thought it would be nice to also add, if you notice, there's actually two cement that I showed earlier, the texture on the stock images. We are going to bring in that texture. Let's start off with the wall. Press on the wall. There you go. And I want you to just drag the cement dirt. There you go. Press on Alt. If you notice, it's filling up the whole area because it's not masked yet. All right. I want you to press on Alt. There you go. If you notice, it's like, oh, Ramesh is there, but I can't see the red color mark at the background. All you have to do is change normal to overlay. If you notice, you can actually move things around by pressing Shift E. You can move things around. There you go. They have a bit of darkness, but that thing, I want to rotate it bottom up, which makes more sense actually. Usually they have these things, but it's too harsh right now. So I'm gonna just reduce the opacity. There you go. That looks good. And if you notice, cleaner wall, slightly, rusty looking wall. So to again, why? To make it more realistic. And let's also add it at the bottom here. I'm gonna drag in again that, and we're gonna press on Alt, and let's move this down, resize it, change it to overlay. There you go. That's good. And also on the surface, we are going to do the same. So I'm going to just go up here where the layer is, and I'm going to drag in the cement dirt, press on Alt, and we need to do the resizing. Remember, Control T. Let's move it like this. Press on Shift and move like that. And I am going to do a manual fixing by pressing on Control T and then restart. Let's do a manual positioning of the surface. Drag this to the back. That looks good. And then we're gonna just change normal to overlay. And then if you notice, all the marks are still there. There you go, that looks perfect. But I'm gonna reduce the opacity slightly. And we are kind of almost there in the finishing stage. It's been 1 hour. Again, within 1 hour, we can do this. So imagine what we can do in 5 hours. This looks so good. Again, as a closing, I thought would be nice to even add or show you even more color lookup settings. Again, go down here, look for color lookup, and I want you to just play with all the different color filters that's already available. Again, I can even show you more. Edgy Amber is one of my favorite. Press on it if you notice. Oh, it's like sunset time, but then it can be a bit too much again, depending on what theme you are, right? Like if you want a sunset feel to it or whatever not. Again, I want you to reduce the opacity to 0 and add it a bit so that it create this realistic looking colors, right? Let's zoom in even more. There you go. That looks good, right? So there's even more, like I said earlier. Let's see maybe two of it like this. You can have a moonlight. If I increase the opacity, you can see slightly, bluish. There's also Kodak, it creates some sort of like, it's less contrasty. So yeah, but for this, like I said, I love the edgy amber. I'm going to maintain it, but I'm going to reduce the opacity to maybe 4%. There you go. Ta-da! I think we are officially done. So again, within 1 hour, we managed to create this. So practice, practice, practice is super important. Let's look it in a full screen mode. Isn't it cool? Right? So again, whatever tips and tricks that I've shared for in this video, please use it um, with your own stock images. And if you manage to create any of it, please feel free to send me a direct message. I would love to see it. If there's any comment, I will definitely tell you. And also, if you really, really like this video and you want more with this, a different theme, we can play with different subjects. Make sure that you subscribe and follow. I would love to do even more manipulations for you guys. Again, sharing is caring. The reason why I'm doing this is because I know a lot of people sending me direct message. I think it's time for me to create all these videos already. It's been such a long years that I didn't do. And but yeah, so this is the first video, and I really hope that you learned something. So isn't that cool? Within 1 hour or so, we create this piece. Thank you so much. And I really hope that you enjoyed the whole session. I hope this 1 hour kind of already inspire you to create even more artwork. Please feel free to follow those platforms where I exist in there. Send me a direct message, follow me, subscribe. If you really like the video, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and do share with your family and friends. Again, thank you so much for watching. Um, and I'll make sure I'll do another video right after this with a different theme. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy the video. Bye.